Welcome, everybody, to my first ever podcast. My name is Rich. I'm here. I hope you join my journey and you learn from what I will be expressing. It's very difficult to get on a microphone and discuss about life, discuss about your career, your personal life, your love life, and much more. What makes us happy? What makes us sad? The variable is very. It's a roller coaster, right? Life is a roller coaster. It's not meant to be easy. It wasn't easy. We weren't born into onto an easy life. Some have, which that it's a blessing, but many of us. I'm not gonna say I wasn't blessed and born with a great family, but we all had our trials and tribulations and gone through our difficulties. In my case, in my stories, there's a lot of stuff that people don't know about me and never been very vocal about it. And my intuition for a long time has been telling me to get a microphone and just start speaking. And to be honest, I've always been, how can you say, I've always been not really confident in speaking. I always felt that the way I spoke, the way I expressed myself wasn't good enough, or I felt like people would laugh at me, or just didn't properly express proper words. But now, as you get older, I really don't care for that anymore. I'm just, expressing myself, whether however it comes across to the world or to you guys or to whoever is listening. But we are here, we are living. We have to give thanks to God for giving us a glorious day to be here and to do what we love to do, or try to do what we love to do, or chase after that career, or chase after that loved one, or whatever it is in life. But we are here, we are blessed, and I'm very grateful, and all glory to God. Life throws at us many obstacles, many tests that we have to go through, and you will not realize it that you're going through a certain test in life, a life lesson. If you're not in tuned or open to that frequency of energy, knowing that you are being guided by God and angels and the energy of the world, or the vibration, the positivities and the negatives also as well. You got to put that out there too. You got to be in tune with yourself, or try to be. It's not as easy as, I'm going to be in tune right now. No, it's a process. It's a learning process. And once you get in tune with yourself, you will start realizing that there's a lot of messages are given to you, whether it's through numerology, is it through a friend giving you a certain message, or the radio, or the music, or at school, at work, at your career, doing videos, doing your TikToks, doing your Instagram, doing your photography. You'll be amazed if you really pay attention. And it's not all the time. It's not going to be like a message all the time. No, there's always a specific time when you're going through a certain situation in your life. And then somebody will say something or you will see something and it resonates with you. When something, a text, a video, a music, or a person that you just met out of thin air and it resonates with you, that is a message delivered to you. Whether it's positive, and also it can be negative too, or an awakening as well, or just directing you to be careful or to be aware or whatever it is, the message. If it resonates with you, that was a specific message for you. I was not in tune with that until recently, maybe over, I want to say, over a year ago. And I started noticing that certain situations would resonate with me and it would click and it would make sense. And it was like to a specific question that I had in my mind or a certain dilemma that I was going through. And it's like, ah, man, I just don't understand it. And somebody will say something out of nowhere, or you just hanging out with friends and they say something, and it just, you listen to it and I don't say anything. It resonates, and then say, you know what, that makes a lot of sense. Maybe the message, it's not directly with you, but it's an indirect message. If you really focus, it's like, hey, wait a minute, was that message for me, or was that just something to give me clarity of my situation? See, you got to understand, in my position, I've been going through a lot since 2024. Not only 2024, I've been going through a lot throughout the course of my life. But that is life, right? Everybody has their ups and downs. It's not a sob story, but it's a pretty heavy story, from my younger age and to my young adulthood, and to become a husband, a father, and many other things that I was trying to accomplish throughout throughout the journey, actually. And it's difficult to, when you're walking the journey and doing the journey, we are blinded by a lot of emotions, our ambitions, our sadness, our depressions, our happiness, our fatherhood, husbandhood, and our friendships and girlfriends. I didn't have girlfriends, but I mean, like it's a lot, and we get our I feel like we lose ourselves in the journey. You got to look back. Remember back when you were a kid, you were yourself, right? This is what I love when I go pick up my kids, my daughters, and I used to love when I used to pick up my son at school. Is that when you see a kid, right, 3 to 5, and they're just running around, asking questions and being themselves, they're a true human being. And it makes sense why, they say, do not disrupt a child upbringing, or don't distort them and don't corrupt them, because they're a sponge, right? So whatever you give them, they're gonna soak that in. But a child, when you see a kid running around, a boy, a girl, playing around and just running around and being themselves, and I'm talking about the ages around 3 to 4, maybe up to 5, because after 6 or 7, their personality changes. But that age, even two to five, let's say 2 to 5, and they're just themselves and they're playing and they're having a good time and they don't, they're throwing themselves and they dress the way they want to dress if you let them dress, and it's funny because they're themselves. But as we get older, we cover that, we put that away, we become afraid of being ourselves, and that is a completely fact. Look at social media, even including myself. We portray ourselves to being successful, having this grand life of traveling and doing all kinds of positivity, but they never show us. And I'm guilty of it too, and I think I've been trying to show the reality that it's not all glamorous because it's not real. I'm only posting things that are real to me, that yeah, it's a positive, but it took so much work to get to that position. It took so much energy and so much that it should have been, I should have put that more than the success. The success is the reward, right? Whatever success, you can be financially successful, you can be career successful. Success doesn't just dictate about money, because we all need money. Money is a tool. Money is something that gives us the ability to do other things, right? We all strive for it, we all work hard for it, and we all do what we can to get it in our career, our education. Is to better ourselves, which is a great thing to do, which is a positive thing to do, we all have to educate ourselves to get to that position. But again, along the way, we do lose ourselves in the process. And I'm not going to say everybody, there is a lot of real people out there, real people, but there is a lot more people that are not real. And when you see somebody really happy, like completely happy, I question, say, I'm happy for them to be happy, but I know behind that happiness, there is something more to that. Even including myself, I am happy. I like to be happy. I like to talk to people and bring positive vibes. But the truth of the reality is, behind the scenes, it's not all that. It's the complete opposite. So being real to ourselves, it all starts within ourselves, right? It all starts within oneself. Nobody's gonna make you happy. Not your wife, not your husband, not your kids. Your kids will make you happy to a certain point, but when it comes down to it, when you're on your own and you're by yourself, are you happy with yourself? Are you happy where you're at? And if you're not, what are you doing to make that change? Because it is difficult to help somebody else when you're not happy. How can you help somebody if you're not happy? If you can't even help yourself, how is it that you can help somebody else? In my case, in this conversation or talk, is not really trying to say that I'm right or wrong. I'm just expressing the way I see it, what I've what I've done. And hopefully and potentially that somebody out there who listens to this would help them in a certain way. Maybe there's a hidden message here for you guys. And if there is, God bless you, man, And it's just trying to be real to myself. This is just me being real. Try to give my experience, put it down. So, again, potentially help somebody out there. Yeah, with that said, I mean, like, let's be real. I'm going through a divorce, right? And it's been a long process that, the relationship wasn't there as it was in the beginning. And it happens in marriage. But the truth of the matter is, I got to say this up front before we go forward about this, is because I have to take accountability for my actions. Accountability of what I've done many years ago that started this process of the downfall of my marriage, and they're unfortunately not being with my family. I take completely 100% accountability of my actions, and I know I failed, and it's something. It's a process. So with that said, it's very interesting that I have been meeting a lot of many people, many men that are going through the same process. When you go through this, you will say, "Oh, you feel lonely. I get it. Your friends are not gonna help you. They're gonna try to help you, and I'm not gonna say they're not. I shouldn't say that. They're going to help you because they probably also gone through it too. But in my case, I did not want to open up or take anybody's advice because everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different. Everybody's just different, right? So I didn't want that to dictate me how to go through the process. I did not file the divorce. I did not want to get divorced. I did not want to break my family, but she was not happy. So what they say, 80%, 90% of marriages are the female filed the divorce, and it's true. I'm one of the statistics, I think, right? In the data, is that how you say it, right? I swear I thought I was not gonna be one of those, but here we are, pushing forward. So I've been meeting a lot of people, just random, and also women too, that they're going through the same process, and it's each one of them have a different story, and it's a very interesting thing to hear and to listen, and just to stay quiet and take in their stories and what they're going through. There's one gentleman that I met. I think he was 4 days into the divorce, and this was last week, right? And he was married, I believe, 20 years. And he's career driven. He said he was very successful in the construction, and he expressed that he gave her everything. He said, "I didn't cheat on her. I didn't drink. I'm just a normal guy working, and I gave her everything. Gave her a house. We had our family. We got married. We had kids. She didn't have to work. Everything was paid. But yet, it was not enough." And he wasn't happy. And I guess she wasn't happy. But it seems like he doesn't. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I feel like he doesn't want to get divorced, but he kind of does. He said he wasn't happy. But he said, "Yeah, man, I gave her everything, and she wanted a divorce." It's like, wow. It's like, just for no reason. Like, yeah, she just wants a divorce. She just want to do anything with me. And then there's another story. Almost identical to this story. This is another gentleman. And Again, he's getting going through. He has no. He's not going through the divorce. He's gone through the divorce. Again, he's paying. He gave her everything, but in this scenario, he said he was not happy. He was not happy because he said that she was not pushing herself to be a better person, meaning that she was, I guess, I don't know 100%, so don't quote me on this. I believe she was a 100% stay-at-home mom. She had no education. She didn't have the drive to, I guess, to be successful in his eyes. And this gentleman also has his own business, I believe, and he is very successful. And not to put it out there to the race card and everything, this is a Caucasian. And the first story that I spoke about, he was from I think Pakistan. And the second one is he's Caucasian. And the very interesting thing about his story is that he pays her child support, right? He pays child support and he pays alimony because he was with her for 10 years. And he said, because I asked him, where do you live? He said, oh, I have my house here, close by. Oh, okay. And I go, she actually lives with me still. I go, what do you mean? He go, yeah, she doesn't have an education. I go, I still care for my family. I still care for her. I still care for I love my children, he said. And I'm not going to just kick her out and leave her in the streets, because if that happens, my children are going to suffer and she's not going to make it. So in this story, she still lives with him and he's paying her a good amount of money. A good amount of money. I believe he told me he was paying $5,000 a month to her and still living with him at the house. And she, by his information, stated that it was not enough money for her still. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that crazy? It's not something to laugh about. It's just their story. I'm not going to go bashing on the wife. Excuse me for that. Bashing on the wife or bashing him. Because he did tell me that his friends were, say things to him because say, hey, why are you giving all this money? She's still living with you. And he kind of pretty much said the same thing. What I was feeling was like, I don't want to talk to my friends about it. It's none of their business. It's like, like what he said, right? He said, no matter what, I still care for her. She is the mother of my children. Why wouldn't I do that for her? Why would I not support her still and give her what she needs? Because if I don't, she's going to be out not surviving and with my kids. It's not going to work. I'm not going to do that. But he comes back and says, but I wasn't happy. I was not happy with her. And that's only two of many more that I've spoken. Some are happy, like they don't care. Some, they broke up and that's it. They went their own ways and that was it. And I believe those stories are the ones that don't have children. I think the tougher ones, the harder ones to go through are definitely, including myself, when we have children involved. Definitely difficult because it's a game. It becomes a game of who gets what, and it's very difficult. And I do not wish this upon anybody at all. I don't. If you can work it out, work it out. People want to do it because they want to go party or they just whatever reasons. If you can work it out, work it out. I'm not gonna bash on anybody if you want to go out there and have fun or travel the world by yourself or just being alone. All power to you guys. But if you still have something for each other and you guys have mutual respect for each other, I would definitely try to work it out. Go talk. If you never spoken with each other, that is the main downfall on my part. It was not being more vocal than I should have. But definitely make sure have a open line of communication. Whatever you don't like, or how she makes you feel, or the way he makes you feel, you needed that open line of communication. Definitely needed it, because you can't be quiet. One can't just be completely dominant of how they feel, and then the other one's quiet and they disregard how they feel. That doesn't work. That's not gonna work. Trust me, that's not gonna work. And being quiet because you're thinking like, oh, it's gonna go away. It's not gonna go away. So you need to voice your opinion and make sure that you heard, that you both are heard. Her and him are both are heard. So so what are we talking about here? Because this whole thing of life, of marriage, and I guess to end this first ever podcast, I guess the lesson here is open communication. Open communication. That is what I'm gonna close out tonight. It's open communication, and also be an active listener. That goes into what I was talking about earlier. When there is a message that resonates with you, you have to be open to that. When you're ready, you will understand. It will come to you. Whether you're young, whether you're middle age, or you're older. There's no age limit. Some get it very young, some get it very old, and some get in between. That's when you're in tune with yourself and what you want to get out of life. In the end, we all gotta be happy. It all begins with you. In order to make other people happy, you have to make yourself happy, and you have to be happy in your position. Now, if you're not happy where you're at, then you have to work at it. You have to make the change. You have to wake up and say, why am I am not happy here? And you have to make that change. Nobody's gonna do it for you. Your husband, your wife, your kids, nobody's gonna do it. God would put that in you. God would come and tell you to do it. That comes within you. That comes in within you. Begins with you. And then when you make that change, and when you make that life course change, it might affect a lot of different things. You got to be prepared for that. Any changes can definitely change the course of your life where you're at. So you got to be ready and willing. But in the end, you're going to be happy for you. Once you're happy for you, then everybody will else be happy, because you're going to be projecting positivity. You're going to be projecting happiness. And then that's another thing that we'll talk about next time, is understanding how to protect your energy, your vibration, because there's a lot of people who will come and take that away. With that said, I hope you guys got something out of this. And if you did, follow, like, and subscribe. And I would appreciate you guys. God bless you guys. This is Rich, 35 Raw, and this is 35 Raw Talk. We out.